In the heart of Colorado, nestled among towering peaks and whispering pines, lie mountain towns shaped by time, and now, by change. These high-altitude sanctuaries have long been havens for travelers and dreamers, drawing those who seek the crisp air, the thrill of snow, and the solace of nature's grandeur. But beneath the tranquil veneer, a quiet transformation is unfolding, echoing through the valleys and down winding streets. Today, we journey through 10 mountain communities, each facing the quiet storm of the Airbnb bust. Once bustling with visitors from distant cities and foreign lands, these towns now find themselves at a crossroads. The rhythm of everyday life has shifted. Homes once filled with laughter and lanterns now stand empty, as the ebb and flow of tourism recedes. As we move from one town to the next, we will listen to the whispers of the mountains, tracing the stories of resilience, loss, and adaptation. This is not merely a tale of economics or real estate, but a portrait of communities, fragile and enduring, caught in the gentle turmoil of change. Aspen, once a name synonymous with glamour and vibrancy, now carries an undercurrent of wistfulness. The familiar hum of visitors, the sound of laughter spilling from bustling cafes, has quieted. The Airbnb bust has left its mark here, with once coveted rental homes sitting vacant, their lights dark against the encroaching twilight. Locals wander the streets with a sense of nostalgia, remembering when every season brought a new tide of faces and stories. Those who remain speak of a subtle emptiness, a gap in the fabric of daily life. The community, so interwoven with the ebb and flow of tourism, now finds itself searching for new ways to connect. The familiar faces that once greeted each other across crowded sidewalks now linger a little longer, forging deeper bonds, even as they mourn the loss of the old Aspen. Yet, in the hush that follows the departure of the crowds, a different Aspen emerges, one where the mountains reclaim their dominance, and the town's heartbeat slows to match the rhythm of falling snow. The air is tinged with longing, but also with the promise of renewal. Telluride, cradled in a box canyon, has always possessed a unique charm, a delicate dance between rugged wilderness and refined hospitality. The decline in Airbnb visitors has tested this balance, leaving the town quieter, its festivals less lively, and its streets more subdued. The signature buzz of anticipation that once greeted each new season has softened, replaced by the gentle murmur of locals going about their routines. The town's iconic landmarks stand watch over an evolving landscape. The theaters, once alive with music and film, now host smaller gatherings, their echoes lingering in empty rows. Boutique shops and galleries, too, feel the change, relying increasingly on the support of loyal locals rather than fleeting guests. Yet, Telluride's spirit endures. Its beauty remains undiminished, its community steadfast. As the town faces the challenge of fewer visitors, it leans ever more into its roots, finding solace in the bonds forged between neighbors and the wild majesty of the surrounding mountains. Vail, a jewel of alpine luxury, stands at a crossroads. The grandeur of its resorts and the elegance of its chalets are now contrasted sharply with the struggles faced by residents and workers. The Airbnb bust has widened the gap between the shimmering surface and the reality beneath, as service workers and locals find it harder to make ends meet in a town built for visitors. The once thriving rental market, dominated by short-term stays, has contracted. Some properties remain empty, waiting for guests who may not return, while others are slowly transitioning to serve the needs of permanent residents. For many, the promise of prosperity has faded, replaced by uncertainty and adaptation. Amidst the lavish storefronts and manicured streets, stories of perseverance quietly unfold. Residents band together, rediscovering the value of community in a landscape defined by both abundance and hardship. In this contrast, Vale's true character is revealed, not just in its luxury, but in the grit and grace of those who call it home. In Steamboat Springs, the familiar swirl of visitors has slowed, giving way to a quieter rhythm. The Airbnb bust has brought change to the rental market, with fewer tourists seeking the town's famous hot springs and powdery slopes. Local families, once reliant on short-term rental income, now find themselves seeking new paths, some turning to long-term tenants, others reimagining their livelihoods altogether. The community, however, is nothing if not adaptive. Farmers' markets grow busier as residents connect over fresh produce and shared stories. Schools and local organizations see renewed involvement, as those who remain invest in the town's future. The streets may be less crowded, but the bonds between neighbors grow ever stronger. As Steamboat Springs navigates this new landscape, its people look to the mountains for guidance, resilient, enduring, and ever-changing. In the face of uncertainty, they find hope not in numbers, but in the quiet strength of community. Crested Butte, once alive with the energy of visitors, now moves at a gentler pace. Streets that bustled with skiers and festival-goers have grown calm, the silence broken only by the soft shuffle of boots on snow. The Airbnb bust has left its mark, but in its wake, a remarkable resilience emerges. The town takes pride in its ability to weather storms, both literal and figurative. Residents recall times when hardship shaped their community, fires, floods, and economic downturns, all met with the same quiet determination. Now as visitor numbers dwindle, Crested Butte adapts once more, finding new ways to celebrate togetherness in the absence of crowds. Windows glow warmly in the evening, as neighbors gather to share meals and stories. The sense of isolation is tempered by the knowledge that this too shall pass, and that the soul of Crested Butte endures, strengthened by every challenge it faces. Estes Park, gateway to the Rockies, has long thrived on the migration of seasonal workers and the steady pulse of summer visitors. Now, with the downturn in Airbnb stays, the town's lifeblood has slowed. Hotels and lodges sit partially empty, and the bustling energy of seasonal workers is replaced by a quieter, more contemplative pace. For many, the absence of tourists has meant fewer jobs and reduced income, casting a shadow over the local economy. Yet, amidst the struggle, stories of adaptation surface, workers finding new roles, businesses shifting focus, and the community rallying to support its own. The rhythms of life adjust, as Estes Park learns to balance hope with pragmatism. The mountains stand watch, unchanged, offering perspective and solace to those below. Even as the ripple effect of the Airbnb bust spreads, the spirit of Estes Park endures, rooted in resilience and nurtured by the land itself. Durango, with its rich history and deep sense of place, has experienced its own transformation. As the Airbnb market falters, homes once reserved for visitors are now returning to the hands of long-term residents. Streets once dominated by unfamiliar faces become familiar again, as neighbors reclaim the rhythm of daily life. This return brings both comfort and challenge. For some, it is a homecoming, a chance to put down roots and nurture connections. For others, it means adjusting to a new economic reality, as businesses accustomed to tourist trade seek new ways to thrive. Yet, there is a growing sense of unity, a shared vision for what Durango might become. In the evenings, the town's historic streets come alive not with crowds, but with the laughter of friends and the warmth of community gatherings. Durango, ever adaptable, finds strength in its people, drawing on its past to forge a new future. Salida, a small gem along the Arkansas River, faces the Airbnb downturn with characteristic creativity. The town's artists, entrepreneurs, and dreamers come together, seeking new ways to reinvent their community. Empty vacation rentals become artist studios, co-working spaces, and homes for those seeking a new beginning in the mountains. Local leaders spearhead initiatives to attract long-term residents and nurture small businesses. Events once tailored to tourists are now designed to bring together locals, strengthening the ties that bind. The river, ever flowing, reminds the town that adaptation is part of its story. As Salida reimagines its future, a sense of optimism takes root. The town's efforts to reinvent itself are not without challenge, but the enduring spirit of its people shines through, proving that, even in the face of adversity, the heart of the Rockies beats strong. At over 10,000 feet, Leadville stands as a testament to endurance. The Airbnb bust has brought uncertainty, yet the town's rugged spirit remains unbroken. Here, the past is never far away. Miners' cabins and Victorian storefronts speak of generations who weathered hardship with grit and grace. Today, Leadville faces new challenges. Fewer visitors mean quieter streets and leaner times, but also a deepening sense of community. Residents gather in local halls and cafes, sharing memories and hopes for the future. The mountains, timeless and imposing, remind all who live here of the resilience required to thrive in such a place. As Leadville looks ahead, its people draw strength from their surroundings and from each other. The future may be uncertain, but the enduring spirit of this mountain town, shaped by nature, tested by change, remains steadfast, echoing across the high peaks. As the winds shift and the rivers flow, these mountain towns endure, shaped by nature, and now by the tides of change. The Airbnb bust, though disruptive, has revealed the profound resilience woven into the fabric of these communities. In silence and in struggle, in the hush of empty streets and the warmth of newfound kinship, Colorado's mountain towns discover what it means to adapt and to persist. Every challenge brings with it a quiet opportunity to reconnect, to reimagine, to reclaim what has always made these places special. The mountains, unyielding and eternal, bear witness to this evolution, standing sentinel over valleys shaped by both the forces of nature and the choices of those who call them home. As we leave these towns behind, their stories linger on the wind. A gentle reminder that even in times of uncertainty, the heart of the Rockies beats on, steadfast and true, awaiting the next chapter yet to unfold.